I'm going to thank my sponsor, Card Kingdom. We're heading into a core set 2020 draft. It's going to be best of 3 here. And Card Kingdom is a purveyor of Magic stuff, the cards, the equipment, the gear, the singles, the sealed product. They have pre-made stuff. They kind of do their own pre-constructed material. If you want to help somebody get into the game, they have a lot of good pre-cons, non-WotC pre-cons that are great. They have starter cubes. If you want to get a cube going, but you've been too intimidated to even just get going, you can get a starter cube from Card Kingdom and build it from there. So it's great. Thank you, Card Kingdom. Also, if you do visit Card Kingdom and you, especially if you buy from them a lot and you want to support me, go to them through my affiliate link, and then it really helps my stream. Really shows them that their support of me is worth it. Thank you, Brian. Appreciate that. Brian's into Commander, huh? You're one of those Commander types. No, I appreciate Commander. I don't play it as much as even as I'd like, but I do appreciate what Commander does for this game and this community especially. But let's jump in. Yeah, and if you need some shiny foils for your sweet Commander deck, Card Kingdom's got you hooked up right there too. Shogmoth, yeah, we can talk MTG finance sometime. I'm certainly involved in that area of things right now, so I have some thoughts for sure. Wow, is this like the easiest gems ever? This is one of the worst packs we've opened. There's a Splinters. Look at this. Wow. It's easy gems. And we could craft up. Let's see, we have 2 rares. So yeah, Splinter's probably the best card, but this is a pretty easy temple. We'll leave it in the main in case there's some splashing that become relevant here. Rabid Bite jumps out at me here, as does Pulse. Woodland Champ is somewhat of a build around. Spider is just better in a vacuum. We know Aerial Assault is first pickable over Cavaliers in the right circumstance. That circumstance being when you misclick, but we did max win that. You want the skeleton this year? I don't know. Skeletons tend to, I guess they've stopped wheeling as much, but I think we go Bite here. I want to take the Bite over the Pulse. Overgrowth Elemental is not a card I've really had the opportunity to take at the right place and the right time, but maybe this is it. Maybe we can take Overgrowth Elemental, find ourselves some elemental action, and go from there. Blood for Bones also quite strong. Yeah, it's between these two, but I think Overgrowth Elemental, given the Rabid Bite, gets a little nudge up, and certainly Elementals is where you want to be if you're in green. Hey, Minch. Yeah, there's a call for Blood for Bones, which is probably the most powerful card, but I think the Rabid Bite and the strength of the Elemental themes gives the nod to Overgrowth for me. Punished, because now I want this Lich. But we don't have, let's see, now what? We could still take the Lich and try and splash. Maybe we wheel the Hollow. We could also just take Frostlinks or Lavakin Brawler and move towards the elemental stuff. I craft rares to show that it can be done. I'll talk about that more when we go and do it. I'm Ubermensch. I want to really clarify some stuff on the gem rare drafting. Let's take the Brawler as the better. This is the better color combination, but this is the better elemental. However, I think I'm going to take the Lynx to try and start out in blue-green. I think Brawler is a little bit better, but I was hoping to cut some blue. I would ideally like to be blue main, so I tried to push that, and of course that's not going to work out here, and we're being pushed back towards red. All right, Pack Mastiff is a great 2-drop, I think. This is a nice 2, nice 3, nice 4 in red. Yeah, funky but loving. That's why I went with a Frost Lynx. Figured I might as well go for the de facto best color pair. But oh man, I rare draft anyway. Pack 1, pick 1, and Pack 1, pick 1 was abysmal. The if we didn't take Temple of Silence, we were going to take a like a Bone Splinters. Yeah, now I really wish I had that brawler, but let's not. Maybe we'll wheel it. I've seen the brawler wheel. Let's take Smuggler and see where to go from here. We can take a bow in anticipation of potentially staying blue and finding a weaponsmith, but there is an Infuriate. That is a fine trick. I find in the Elementals deck, you are getting blocked a lot. Like I respect Infuriate. I think it's a decent trick for the format because you do get into tangles on the ground. With the update, like, I mean, there was an update this morning. Are you talking about today's update, or are you talking about all last week? And last week I wheeled 2 brawlers. So in the update now, I mean, how many times have you drafted in the update? Anyway, Bo is controversial without Weaponsmith. I want lots of bows, frankly. Like I either want a Weaponsmith or I want like three or more bows. Because I want to get 2. If I can get 2 bows, then I feel like they make up, then they're worth it. Then I get more than 2 cards worth of value out of their result. But if I get stuck with 1 bow on the battlefield, it can be, yeah, I'm just saying, I'm comparing experience. Not saying either of us are wrong or right. I'm just adding my data points to the pile. From the update today. Well, that's good to know. Yeah, we could take Sentinel, but it might come around. I'd rather even take the Piranhas if we're going to take a 2-drop. It's not amazing, but the difference between 3/3 and 2/2 in this format is immense. It's part of what I was kind of getting at with the 3/3 for 3 versus a 3/2 for 3 with an ability. The extra point of toughness really does matter. But yeah, we can take a bow. I'm fine. We'll take a bow, see if we pick up more. Here's another Smuggler. There's the Loaming Shaman we were talking about before. I think we just take another Smuggler. Try to settle into green-red as the base here. There's Vial. Or an Elemental. Not exactly where we want to be. Yeah, 5s are pretty easy, it's true, but this is an Elemental. Alright, I'll take the Vial. Boy. Here's our lousy first pack. With some lousy stuff still in it. I guess now we could take a Sentinel over maybe, but the Spitter at least has a couple Smugglers going with it. But so the Smugglers still work with a Sentinel too. We'll just take Sentinel. Spider coming back is great, but maybe we need, I like taking these lands for Teamer when I can. Really want this Spider, but I think the land is more important because if we find ourselves a reef, a Risen Reef, we've got to do it. So I'm going to take the land. And we'll take Progress. I guess I'll take a Befuddle, actually. It's possible we still end up heavy blue somehow. So, and the Elemental came back. Or maybe that was a different one. Yeah, Wheeling Spider is a nice sign. Thank you, Tekken. My friend Field of the Dead for rare drafts or pattern matcher, basically. We could take the matcher for the Smuggler. I'm going to take gems. I'll put these both here. Pattern matcher is fine, but let's just take some gems. All right, interesting place here now. We have this deck is bad. Like, I'm not married to anything because it's all full of garbage. We got like 2 good cards and a couple of cards. Rabid Bite plus Growth Elemental is fine. 2 Smugglers is fine. 1 Frost Lynx is fine. Everything else is so marginal. I kind of want the Shock over the Troll. You'd consider leaving red. I mean, if we're consider leaving red, let's take Scholar and try to have fun with that. Yeah, the Blood for Bones pick is looking good with the Scholar, huh? I don't know if I'm happy to main deck 2 bows. It doesn't feel like I don't know. I like bow in the sideboard for sure. Maybe we should take Troll since we're more likely to be sure thing green. But also, I'm going to take the Scholar. Let's see if we can make it happen. Oh, of course. The Magic Gods are just so cruel sometimes. Yeah, maybe we should have just taken the Troll. Well, I'm taking the Trailblazer now. Confusing. And okay, Elemental, Weaponsmith for the 2 pieces we have there, or just Druid if we want to lean more towards the sure green-red. But Boreal Elemental is amazing. I think this deck is bad enough that we're going to be forced into splashing anyway. So I just want to take, I'm going to take the Elemental. I think it's, I've actually, the Leafkin Druid has been dropping a little for me. The lack of power matters. I don't know. Sometimes the Leafkin Druid, I mean, it's a terrible top deck in a lot of cases. I'm gonna take the Elemental and accept that we're gonna have some mana issue losses in this one probably, but that we are playing best 2 out of 3. Hopefully we can come back and take it in the next one, you know. Reduced to Ashes is fine. Best thing for us here. Scorch Spitter works with the Trailblazer and the Smugglers because it's still unblockable as a 2/1, and then it deals an extra point of damage. Portal for Scholar shenanigans, but yeah, we could also just get out of green, splash the Rabid Bite. I don't know. I feel a little bit lost here. Some support for the Sprite. I'm not loving the Sprite right now. I find it pretty underwhelming, but it's not unplayable or anything. Just a little underwhelmed by it. But maybe it's the pick. It is depressing. Portal has a lot of upside. Right now, though, it's doing a Scholar and Frostlynx thing for us and not much else. That's the problem right now. Like, what are we... This gets our eyes wide, but yeah, I think we just take Unsummon. It's powerful interaction in this format. I'm with you on Unsummon. Yeah, it's something to get back with Scholar. And I just don't think we were there yet for taking the bounce artifact. Here's a bow to add to the pile, but I think we just take the Brawler here. Spitter or Uncaged Fury. Might have to take the Spitter. Hope we look out to some more Trailblazer, Smuggler. We got enough Smugglers, but I think we just take the Spitter here. Fury can win games out of nowhere, but I don't know. Surprise lethal. I'm worried about our creature count also. That's one of my problems. Like, I don't love the Sentinel, so let's, like, if we take the cards out we're not happy with, we start to lose our creature count really quickly here. And that's what makes me want... Yeah, I'm going to take the Spitter because I think we're going to need density of creatures. Yeah, it is. I'm trying to come around on it a little bit and acknowledge that with smugglers, it's okay. With creeping trailblazers, it's okay. Helping elemental synergies is okay. All right, well, a lot of support for the Fury, so I'll take it. I'm just worried about our creature count quite a bit here. It has enough synergy to be okay, but it's not amazing. Well, we're best of 3, so let's take this. Oh, we could take Ether Gust too if we thought for sure we were going to be blue. I mean, what are we even? We're definitely. I think we're 3 color. But let's take the Plummet. Dingus Egg was on Spitter, so I'm not completely crazy anyway. Centaur Courser is a generic playable over natural end if we're still green. I don't even know what our main colors are. Pretty awful to be heading into pack 3 not even really knowing where your main colors are, but I suppose you can consider that nice and open. Weaponsmith came back. All right, we'll take that, and hey, we got the portal. All right, Magic Gods, give us something to play with here. Oh. Seer or the fixing to actually make this work along with gems. Embercat is nice. Ugh. Cloudkin is what I want to take, but actually I think we have to take the land, not only for gems, but like our deck desperately needs this. I'm gonna take it. Like, oh, shared summons is interesting. Maybe this Smith will wheel along with the other one. You like Brawler over 2 of anything? I mean, this is gems too, folks. Gems, and we would play it, and it would be solid. You want the Overgrowth Elemental? I think if we're on Elemental, we want the Brawler. All right, I'll forsake the gems, but I think we should be taking the gems. Yeah, I'm kind of on summons, but I'll lean towards chat here. What we get with summons is our 2 best remaining creatures. You know, that's not bad. We get our Scholar of Ages with the summons. How about that? We get shared summons for Scholar of the Ages. Don't you want to do that? I know. I'm not sure we can play the Scholar either. Although it's 7, so even if we're splashing blue, sometimes you can get away with that. Let's be adults, though. What are we really doing here? Gosh, maybe it picks the Weaponsmith to lean into it. No, we're trying to wheel the Weaponsmith. Yeah, looking at this, I think we need to take the red card. This is fun, but I'm going to take the Brawler. Kind of looking at this curve and looking at our situation made me think that was the right thing to do. This Weaponsmith wheeled, so, or wherever it is. We wheeled one, maybe we'll wheel the other. Pack Mastiff is actually the pickup I like here. Works with our 2x Smuggler and fills out our 2 drops, which are pretty light, especially if we drop heavy green, which is possible. This Mask jumped out at me, but I like the Embercat better. Embercat into Lavakin Brawler is just a classic curve out for this format. So we're going to take the kitty. Mask is fine, but I like the solidness of the kitty cat. We can take another 5-drop Elemental here, or just add to our 4s with a playable 4 that's not on Synergy. I think that makes sense. We'll just get a Dagger Sail here. how do you know when things are going to wheel again? I hear you say that a lot. Experience with the bots, getting used to exactly how the bots draft the format is one thing, and that's mainly it. Just seeing what has tended to wheel before, and then assuming, seeing if it's gonna wheel, assuming it'll wheel again based on the past. But it's power level. I mean, one way you can, we're at pack 3, unfortunately, but and this is a kind of a bot focused mentality about it here on Arena, but you can do it in paper as well. And what you can do, like, let's say you open a pack, count off the best 8 cards you see in the pack. Like, if you're in a physical draft, you can even bring the top 8 to the front. Say, well, I'm certainly going to windmill slam this rare, but the next best 7 cards are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then you say, okay, I'm going to get these. This is what's going to wheel. So that's how you can predict to wheel. It's an educated guess, exactly, James. But you can look at the strength of the cards in the pack and predict what's going to be left when that pack makes it back around to you. We'll take gift here. Looks like we're going to play all over the place 3-color. I think I like a Sedge Scorpion actually over another elemental, fire elemental here. Obviously, fire elemental works with the brawlers a little better. But I think we had an elemental early in pack 3 that might wheel. I'm going to take this Scorp. Let's get more fixing. More fixing? Great. With all the fixing, at least we can cast our crappy cards. Sure. I'm glad it was awesome. I'm always afraid my old LR content won't always hold up, but then sometimes I re-listen and it does. Yeah, we'll take Invocation here over a Negate for sure. Just see what we can pick up here. We did bring in Maniacal Rages against certain matchups yesterday, and we do have a Natural End already. If we face a Flyers deck with a bunch of enchantment-based stuff, though, we might even bring in 2 ends. But I guess I'll give us a more flexible range of sideboard material. Crab could qualify as well. There's the Elemental I was hoping would come back for us. It did. Even get a last-ish pick Loaming Shaman over another opportunity at an end. Okay. Now we are at the end of the draft, so I want to talk about the using wild cards to craft up to 4x so you get gems at the end of a draft. I was actually looking, somebody said, hey, they're talking about you on Reddit, you should look. I looked at some Reddit stuff. There's some misunderstanding some people have about this. I want to be clear. First, let's go do it. What we're going to do is take a look at our rares. We have a couple that are close to 4x. We took a Temple of Mystery, a Temple of Silence, and a Field of the Dead. Okay. So here's the Temple of Mystery. We already have the 4. Temple of Silence is missing 2, so we could craft up there. I'll do that, sure. I think that might be our last... do we have 3? Yeah, we have 0 rare now. So we can't craft up the other one. Why do this? There's only one reason to do this, and that is if you do not care about Constructed at all. And we play on this account for one goal, and that is to get as much drafting in as we can. That's all that this account cares about. And when you have an account that only cares about limited, wild cards can be used to eke out some extra gems out of your draft events. It doesn't really matter for us on rares. I did it to demonstrate the example of it, but we're expecting to 4x our rares in this format by the end of it anyway. So I feel like when we come in here and craft, it's something we can do, but we're going to fill this up anyway. The place where it really matters is for somebody who only plays limited and isn't going to 4x that rarity level of that set. So for example, we probably won't 4x our mythic rares. So when we have, say, 2 copies of a mythic rare, and we're about to draft a third, and we come in here and we use 2 of our mythic rare wild cards to craft 2 extra to bring us to 4 copies, and then we draft a 5th, we're going to get 40 gems from that. And the 40 gems for 2 mythic rare wild cards is totally worth it for a draft-only account. Anybody who cares at all about Constructed, if you play a lot of Constructed and enjoy it, if you play any Constructed and enjoy it, don't do this. I don't recommend it. I think you should actually just use your wild cards for the cards you want. But I know people like this, and we certainly play the account this way, that where we don't really care about Constructed. Our goal here is to get limited play, and so we use this technique to eke out some extra gems from the mythics where we're not certain we're going to 4x at the end of the season. Yeah, this is effectively vault progress for rares and mythics. Yeah, Press, that's about the right. If you are yeah, also, you can, like, I have, even doing this, even working to max out Constructed as the primary, or limited as the primary goal, I still do play Constructed on this account sometimes and have a total blast for it. I just can't, I don't get to build exactly the deck I want at all times if I'm going to adhere to these strategies for squeezing extra gems out of a draft. Anyway, let's go back to the draft now. That's a good call, Mike. Mike is on board. You know, Mike runs, I guess, 7 accounts. Mike has spent $1 million. Was it $1 million gold? Mike 1976 has spent over $1 million gold across 7 free-to-play accounts, kind of juggling ongoing draft events. And even Mike suggests keeping some wild cards around in case you want to craft something to make good use of your time in one of those special events. But I didn't bother checking the Field of Dead because we're out of rare wild cards. We Field of Dead had we had 3 of them, so we're going to fill up on that now. So now we're going to go rejoin the draft, finish, and get some of those gems. Boom. Yeah, 1 million on the weekend. There you go. That's incredible, Mike. You play a lot of Magic. All right, let's see about this, salvaging this mess. 1812, we can make some cuts from both sides. We can go ahead and play something like Scholar of Ages if we think we have the targets. Let's see, we have Unsummon. What is it now? 2 target instant and/or sorceries. Reduce. And Fury and Befuddle. It's not exactly like a bottomless pit of value here for this combo, but maybe is that enough? You think that's enough? I don't know. Yeah, we could, what if we really reduced our blue? To just like splashing a Boreal, maybe a Frost Lynx. It's got a reasonable balance of stuff. And then, yeah, we still end up with these weird pieces. I think I like this out of the board. We can start a Dragonfire main. Throwing an expensive shock around isn't the worst, but I don't think we want Dragonfire. We can probably run just another Sentinel in this spot, or... Yeah, Mike's strategy is not to squeeze gems out of a single account. He's just about juggling a bunch of different accounts, so you don't really worry about any of that. Is this correct? We can ditch the gift, actually. I think we have enough fixing. If we're just splashing Elemental and Lynx, we can get there on Evolving Wilds, Mystery, and even just a couple of... We can probably do this. This looks sweet. I don't know if this is sweet. And we're main decking a Maniacal Rage. This hurts my soul, actually. We want Invocation over Maniacal Rage, at least. Run a random Axe. We could splash the Unsummon. It's a little bit of a weird splash, but our power level is not great here, so... Yeah, I kind of don't want this gift. We're not running the Scholar as the thing. I don't know what the Axe gets us, though. I like Axe on small flyers. The home I think this card has is either small tokens or small flyers. But I don't know about in this case where we're just... What, for the most part, this would just be making ground creatures have higher power. That's not generally going to get there for you. Can even run a main deck Plummet. What about that? Feels like every deck I face that I don't like is yeah, no spiders either. What is this deck? That's a very metaphysical question, Train. Why is this deck? All right, let's give this a try then. Stop fretting about it and throw it onto the battlefield. Oh, I need to change, make sure our lands are correct, though. In terms of quantity, I do like 1, 2, 3, 4 sources for 2 blue cards. That seems fine. And 6, 7, 8, 9 on red. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it's 9, 9, 4. I think that's appropriate. All right, it's going to be jarring. We got these 2 islands we have to deal with. I wonder, does it search artist name? No. If you're going to have all these, I shouldn't have to search for it. Or I should be able to search for it, I mean. All right, now we'll go to this. Soon our islands will come. Ferengi asks, I think it's been tougher to have a smooth draft. It's been a little bit rough, yeah. I would say I've been having trouble finding my feet in drafts, but the data points are so few that I am reticent to put too much stock in my individual results there. All right, let's get this record correct. Some, new commander decks. People might not like them. I don't know. I haven't looked too closely. Do you know if Wizards reviews any of the bot drafted decks to help determine the authenticity of bot drafting? It is possible to review them. In the course of my work on the draft bots, which I don't know if you know, Turbo Banana, but I actually did the initial design on bot drafting. It's no doubt changed significantly since I've left, but I did start out on that task. And I did take a look at what the bots were drafting, but mainly to make sure that their individual picks looked sensible, that I could look at what was in the pack and what they took, and that it all felt like real human type picks. But I never went through and said, okay, now did they draft a cohesive deck? Because drafting a cohesive deck from the bots was never one of the goals for it. So anyway, let's jump in. Thank you, Buckeye. See, that didn't sound too loud, but it sounded too loud when I was in the different screen. I don't know. I don't have my S together. What can I say? No twos, but we'll keep this. Got our two main colors and some action on three at least. We are best of three. The data at the bottom of the screen is correct right now. All right, we found a 2. That's nice. I mean, like, it doesn't make sense as a goal unless you really think, unless you want the bots to play those decks, you know? Thought fools. I dislike politics in Magic, but I have learned to love Commander. At least love playing it with the right people. So we've got the Shifting Ceratops out on 3. That's turn 3, 5, 4 on the play is tough to deal with. I guess we get the Centaur Courser down, and then we. Let's see if we Uncaged Fury. No, it doesn't trade. So we're gonna. I'm gonna play the Courser so that we can try and Fury on the block. I don't like our position because if they have anything to disrupt Uncaged Fury on Courser, we have a rough time with the Ceratops. But we're gonna try. Yeah, Mountain in the pack can trade too. We could also try and trade here. I'm gonna say no blocks though. No, the bots aren't just taking the best card or taking a random card. That wouldn't be good at all. The idea is for bots to behave somewhat like humans, like reasonably like humans when they draft, and I think we accomplished that. You know, for the goals that we had. Now here we are with now they got stuck on land though, although the Leafkin Druid now pumps for 2, so they have plenty of mana, even though they're stuck on 3 on lands. Again, just trying to decide here. We do have Fire Elemental next turn that also threatens to trade cleanly with this. We could send in the Centaur and actually just try and take him out with the Mastiff Pump. But I'm going to wait. I'm going to be conservative here. We are on the back foot. If they can address one of these two creatures, like, we have a plan for either of these to be lethal against the Ceratops, so I'm going to say no attacks in case they produce removal for one of them. And then if they, and also note they're pausing here. They have, I guess they have activated abilities. Never mind. So we can't really read anything into the pause because they have mana and the ability to pump it into the Ceratops. So We're going to pass here and be conservative and give us 2 options to try and trade for this Ceratops. James wants to attack in and hope to kill the Druid with the Fury, but I want to hope to kill the Ceratops with the Fury. And I think what I'm going to do here is block with both and see what they want to do. Is this a mistake? Like, what I want to do here is, again, like, put this to them. If they want to do something to save the Ceratops, then we get to decide what to do in response. I know they have they have 5 mana up, right? They have a lot up. But if we, you know, I'm just saying, is this like, do we want a single block and try to run a gambit, or try to put them to the test here to respond, and then have our own responses? I think I'm gonna try this. Oh, interesting. So they're not doing anything. I'm gonna risk it. Risking it for the biscuit. Gotta take some chances. What do you mean it doesn't save Centaur? Yeah, that was the plan. We did it. All right, we've somewhat stabilized there. We can go Wilds and Aeronaut starts to fly over for 3, or we can go Forest and drop a big Elemental, but the Elemental just tangles with stuff on the ground. I'm going to go Wilds for the island and play the Flyer. Fathom Fleet Cutthroat can we'll trade that for the Courser. We're going to start attacking with the Aeronaut and try to trade for the Shaman on the ground. They get an extra card out of that, but sometimes you can't help that. That's why it's a good card. Loaming Shaman to refill later, but we're going to go with these plays right now. Let's see. If we attack with Pack Mastiff, they could double block Sorcerer and Skeleton, and we'd be forced to pump to take out the Sorcerer and trade Sorcerer for Mastiff. And then we'd have 4 mana left, and we could still play the Smuggler. We could also smuggle and get the Mastiff in for unblocked 3, get in for 6 this turn, but then they crack back at us for a pretty hefty amount. Yeah, let's I like Mike's line. We're gonna just go to the Aeronaut path this turn. Bring out the big Elemental. And then one nice, next turn we have Smuggler and Shaman if we want it. We have a double spell next turn. And we have trades and good attacks after. If they can't follow up this, if they can't save this Shaman and or follow it up with something nice, we start to take over this game a bit. So let's see if we can do it. They didn't have anything last time. I wasn't expecting anything there. They got a lot of cards, though. They just added another one to the pile. Kind of waiting for their 4th land. I can't believe they haven't found land number 4 yet. You force something in your next draft, Chain. Yeah, I think the plan still holds. Just trying to decide now whether we play the Sentinel or the Shaman. If we wait on the Shaman, we can get a little extra value in terms of what we shuffle back. But playing Shaman gives us something to trade for their new Courser, so I guess I like playing out the Shaman here. Gives us a little value back in the deck, and gives us something to trade with their biggest creature. We'll take the Fury and the Elemental, and even the Courser, because it would be good on this board. I think we just want action. Oppo has been stuck on lands but not mana. With this Leafkin Druid mostly having 3 other friends, they've had plenty of mana available to them. Ooh, nice. Nice to know these are there, but it's going to make the games 2 and or 3 a little more challenging. I'm going to continue to take this trade as expected. Sad times for low elemental town. But we can just make this Mastiff unblockable and crack for 4 there. 4 a turn here seems fine. We even get a Sentinel out. Aeronaut would trade for the Vulture. Is that something we care about happening? I'm going to say no. We're just going to work on the Mastiff angle here. What does trading for the Vulture do for us? I'm not saying that's wrong. I just wasn't sure what to do. When we have a Plummet in the deck, we might draw, for example. Plummet in the deck is a reason not to. Boreal Elementals, kind of a reason not to. Yeah, we can't block it, but if we can do something about the Vulture, this becomes a clock shortener, right? We'll make this trade. Or try to. Yeah, by not trading there, Plummet becomes a game-winning draw. Ceratops, Cutthroat. All right. We're just fully on this Mastiff plan here. See if they have any obvious life gain. Just holding out hope that these 2 things survive. We're just on the edge of victory, but it could all fall apart if either of our key pieces is disrupted here. That's not enough in and of itself. Oh, but it is. They have this stupid Cutthroat. It is enough. Okay. Well, let's just rip the Plummet then. Or our other smuggler. Alright, well, we get to go Embercat into Overgrowth. Would it have been better to pump Mastiff once? Well, to get Overgrowth Elemental out, I was kind of just trying to max the damage. I don't know if it would have done that much for us to have it out. By waiting, I get to put a counter on the cat, which is what I was thinking about, but who knows. So let's do this now. Let's see, what do we like here? We've got, really we just want a Plummet or the second Smuggler for what looks like it would be an insta-win. Do we want to... If we block with the Ember Cat, I want to block with something else too. And I don't know if we want to... Yeah, I mean, I guess we could trade there. Just take this, is that what you're saying? Make this bigger? Yeah, alright. Then it can, then Elemental can trade with the Ceratops, that makes sense. So we're going to trade here, try to build this up to something that can trade there. Honestly, I was looking here, I barely saw they were attacking with the Cutthroat, so that's why I wasn't on that right away. I was thinking about how to get this guy. Haste, Reach, and Trample. Yep, gotta be careful about Trample. Fire Elemental should help with that, though. Ugh, rough. A second one of those. Just give me the Smuggler. Well, how do we not die to the Crackback? Let's see. That's the problem now. All right. We have 6 mana. Can't play both of those spells. We can Invocate and Pump once. And they can Sorcerer, yeah, that puts us at a virtual 3. I think we just lost this. I think this slipped away from us at the last moment. Really frustrating. That's Magic, I guess. I guess we have to drop the Fire Elemental and hope that holds them back. Feral Invocation alone is not going to do anything here, so... protection from or something? What does that halo mean? I don't know. I don't know what that means. It's a good question, Dionysus. Something new from the update today? Visual bug. Oppo's got a deck. I like that style of black-green deck Oppo is showing us. Alright, I was going to say, if that's the attack, we can survive it. They have dropped the Sorcerer as well. Trouble is... They're going to gain life if any of their creatures die. So got to see how they're going to attack here, and then figure out if we can survive in a way that allows us to have the possibility of a top deck for the win. So like, we can play to a top deck of Smuggler, because if we go Smuggler, we can go Smuggler, make unblockable, and Invocate to make it a 4/4 if they only lose one creature. So that's one way to go. Yeah, Feral on Flyer could get there if we still find the Plummet. All right, so now, yeah, this is rough. We have to Elemental the Cutthroat, chump the Ceratops. This will get Trample, and we'll take 3 and go to 2, but then we still have a Plummet out, right? So all we're trying to do is give ourselves an out to the win, and this blocking gives us a Plummet out for the win. If we do it the other way, yeah, I guess we could chump there, leaves the hold on, make sure that leaves the right damage around. If we do it this way, we're looking at taking 2, and the bigger thing dies. Yeah, okay, we'll do it this way. Saves 1 life. And takes out the Ceratops at least. That's where we're at, Press. That's where we're at. You have to, you'll see. We'll go to sideboard and you'll see. Do we want Plummet or Smuggler out? I don't think we want to take it out, do we? Come on, Plummet for the exciting win one time. One time Plummet. One time Dealer. Come on, it would have been good. But it wasn't good. Instead, let's see, are we not dead though? I guess we're just basically dead to the Fang at this point. We put down 2 blockers. They can get through for 1 point and Fang for the other one, for the other 2. Yeah, that's true. Let's give them a chance to not block. I mean, they will, but let's give them a chance to not. All right. Well played, Oppo. You pulled it back out of the fire. Had them right on the ropes. They found the Cutthroat play right at the end. 1 turn pivot point. Glad you liked my pain, Strionic Resonator. Thank you, Banana. We'll talk to you later. All right. Well, the Plummet had its targets, so we'll leave it in. Our splash isn't heavy enough that we felt the need to run the gift over the Plummet. Let's see. Anything worthy of natural end? I guess we could get rid of a bow. What can I say? The bananas love me. Anything, do we see anything particularly weak to bow on their end? Not really. If there were a plan around this, it would be in the deck. The plan around this was get some gems. Yeah, we're just in the first game. Yeah, let's bring in the natural end. The Moldervine is a big deal for that deck. Let's see, we got 24 seconds to find a cut. 17-7. Yeah, we only saw one. I guess we'll take the Plummet out here. I gotta be done or else I'm gonna Invocation is interaction and a swingy card. Like, our deck is kind of bad. I mean, if I had to par this, I'd say 1.5. And when you have a bad deck, you want to play a little bit more towards the strikeout home run cards, because maybe you hit some home runs and get there. And I think Invocation is one of those strikeout home run cards. If it can actually come down and allow you to eat a creature and then leave a massively pumped up creature behind, it can swing a game that you might have lost otherwise. Doesn't mean it's great, but there you go. Main deck disenchant. Oh, that hurts on the Golos. We'll play first. I do keep track of my records. You can look at here. I'm a little behind, not too far behind. I think there's a few days missing from that stuff. And actually, no, the difference between best of 1 and best of 3 was smaller than I expected it to be. I expected to see, you know, that I had a 4-ish% gap between win percentages given the way the math works, but it actually was smaller than that. I don't know why. I'm going to start on Forest and the Scorpion, and we'll follow up with the Elemental, and then get the Highlands in play. No, I haven't really considered adding that, James, adding that kind of detail. I mean, I could, but I'm playing catch-up a lot as well, and so it's more data for me to have to try and figure out after the fact that I don't want to deal with, frankly. I'm already crazy enough for tracking the data that I do. With no 4, I'm going to go ahead and play the Mountain, so we have a 3 to play, and then we can drop Highlands on 4 with no 4. They've got effectively a free block on the Sentinel, but we're going to make them do it. And sure, Oppo can just have Leafkin Druid on turn 2 both games, must be, etc. I'm sure they'll have a Ceratops too, why not? Boris Graphics asks, are you at all interested in getting to Mythic in ranked draft? Interested is the wrong way to put it. Like, interested? I mean, I suppose, sure. Am I motivated? No, I'm not motivated to getting to Mythic in ranked draft. Not with my the nature of my stream and the nature of how I play. Bo is a controversial card, for sure. Wow, okay. They had been taking the block on the Sentinel before, and then they decided not to there. Not sure why exactly. I'm going to go ahead and reduce. It exiles the creature, so they don't even get the card here. And it allows us to fully attack. I tend not to be happy with Bo's main deck without a weaponsmith unless I have at least 3 of them. If I have 3 of them, then I'm pretty likely to get 2 at some point, and once you have 2 out, it becomes machine gun-like. But I'm not really into the 1 bow or 2 bow main deck plan. No elementals out yet for this Trailblazer, but we can do what I was talking about, see if we can get some value out of this Feral Invocation and still drop the Trailblazer, or we could just I could attack with these 2 and drop the Fire Elemental. Let's do that. Well, shoot, if I attack with this, I should be prepared to play the Invocation on it, right? In which case, I should just attack with everything. I'm going to attack with everything. I just don't know which, if it's best to be conservative on this turn and attack everything next turn, or just be aggressive this turn. I think I'll be aggressive this turn. Save 1, drop the Trailblazer, and then be in a pretty good spot for the next turn. That's where I'm at, Simplicity. That they're not worth running without weaponsmiths until you have a quantity of them such that you are likely to get at least 2 in play before the end of your game. Because if you think about the impact of throwing 1 point of damage around on the average board, it doesn't necessarily do a ton. You think about throwing 2 points of damage around on the average board, and suddenly it really is. It's really worth it. So now, let's see, we get... this can pump to 3, 4. We don't quite get them because of the Vorse Claw. Yeah, you can't. The times where I've run a ton of bows, I didn't have much other non-creature. Okay. If we take a turn off from attacking, these untap to block. Yeah, we're at least attacking with this edge. The question is whether we're attacking with both and suiciding one of these in to get in the extra 3. I think we only can attack with the sedge here, unfortunately. I was trying to find a way to justify additional attacks given that they have 2 tapped creatures, but the line just wasn't there. But Fire Elemental plus the Trailblazer does present a nice breadth of threat next turn. I don't want to say wrong things about the way that format was set up because I haven't actually looked, but I don't remember I think the rarity of the stuff was lower, or was higher, and it wasn't a spot where you could get both the vial and the bow in the same draft format. How is that not lethal last turn? We had 1 pump on the Trailblazer to make it a 3/3, and we had a Scorpion hitting for 1 and this being eaten. So if we attack with everything and pump, they go to 1, and then we can't play the Elemental. But Oppo is starting to turn the corner right as we got them near 0 again. We're about to lose to attrition if we don't close this out pretty darn quick. How about a Goblin Smuggler off the top? All right, Train is verifying what I remember, which is that the 2 targets for the Weaponsmith were in different sets and they were uncommon. Or at least the bow was. Well, if they have Disfigure, I'm surprised they're waiting. They should take out the Trailblazer now. Vial was common. That makes sense. Thank you, Dan. Really appreciate that. Dan Brown was doing did the thing that is most useful to me, which is to, if you're going to purchase at Card Kingdom, get there through my link, and then they know that you're a purchasing customer who watches my stream. All right, well, now what? Let's see. Still have the Scorp attack, although they just block with the Burglar in that case, probably. Well, let's play the Temple, see what we got coming. Not an island. One, two, three, four, five, six, 7. We're a land away from double pump here, although not much to... actually, that does matter, because it makes both of them lethal. I'll go ahead and offer the Scorp for the Burglar, I think.
Some say I never heard of ya, a rap burglar.
Hey, Woody, how you been, man? Haven't seen you in a while. Woodrodius is the friend of LR, often mentioned friend and guest. You heard him on a couple episodes at least last year. All right, Scorp has done its thing. Looks like they're going to go for some extra life here. If they want, but we get to eat the burglar if they do. But getting to 5 would be good for them, so probably worth it. I'm expecting the attack. Not going to GP Vegas, too much money. It'd be fun, but I don't have the budget for that right now. Hard to say. But since I'm trying to get to double pump on Trailblazer, I'm not going to hold my lands right now. So now if we attack in, they could eat 1 and just take 4. That doesn't seem great, but let's throw down so that we can double pump. Yeah, after attack maybe makes more sense. I don't think it would have changed their action though, honestly. We're just waiting for smugglers here. Well, if they're going to do that, we have to double block and double pump. I mean, we have to. Unfortunately, they're going to take out the Trailblazer, which removes our smuggler out, which means we'll immediately draw a smuggler. You think they have murder fiddles? It's possible. Are we beating murder? Can we play around murder effectively? Do we just take this? All right, we'll just take the 21. We'll play around murder for right now. Thing is, if they have murder, like none of our outs that we're counting on to try and win this actually work. That's my worry, is that we can't beat murder anyway. That's interesting though. Probably need to hold it though. So if we attack now, they might put Scuttlemutt and something else on the Sentinel. I'm going to try to... Is that worth it? Is it worth it to try and get them to double block Centaur and Scuttlemutt and natural end the Scuttlemutt to get a 2-for-1 out of the natural end? Is that a way towards victory? If they block correctly, it's just us trading a Sentinel for one of their coursers. Well, they might double block with Scuttlemutt. Because Scuttlemutt's the worst creature, right? And we're still up against this theoretical murder anyway. Yeah, I think we have to do something. We might just be trading a Sentinel for one of the coursers here, but it gives us a long shot chance at a 2-for-1, so I wanted to give it a shot. Didn't work, but not the worst result. Hey, Big Bo. How you been? I forgot to follow up with some thoughts on working with an early collection. Try and remember to do that today if we have some time. good for the home team. And of course, a bunch of life out of that. So now we're behind in the race. Nice, smuggler. Nice timing. Thanks, friend. However, we could... Let's see, if we natural end... So close. Maybe not that close. Need to keep the Trailblazer back to at least threaten a pump. We can survive a turn, but we probably have to lose a Trailblazer and or a Smuggler to do so, which is going to make it all moot. I think this one has slipped away 0-2. We had him up against the ropes in both games, and both times Black-Green managed to attrition around the corner and mess us up. That's what it does. So it's done its thing. Let's go to full control, though, and decide if we want to do anything, if we want to take out... Yeah, I know. I get it. But it's kind of a useless extension of our lives. Taking out the mutt on the chance that somehow we find a way to stitch together a win. Maybe with, if we get Uncaged Fury, can we go make unblockable, pump it, Fury it? Yeah, Uncaged Fury is a win, right? Uncaged Fury, I think, is a win, so let's hope for that. We have a plan. Our plan is Uncaged Fury. Are you ready for the top deck? You all told me to draft it because it can win games out of nowhere, right? Here we go. Come on. One-time dealer. This is my one time for like the week. For the week. Ah. No luck. Can we survive? I guess we can survive, though. Let's think about attacks and everything first. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let me just play the elemental, though. We can drop it, and then... Unfortunately, we don't have enough mana for a pump. And... may as well swing with the Blazer, right? We have to, if we smuggle the Blazer, although we might need... Yeah, we don't have attacks. No attacks. Trying to find an attack, but there is no attack here. Murder? Murder most foul incoming. To really just destroy our hopes. Now I don't know how we win. Don't see victory from here. I would say I'll give you the clip, but I think we're past mostly dead.
Your friend here is only mostly dead.
Boo. Pretty uninspiring, but we have a pretty uninspiring deck, so I'm going to try and keep a lid on my tilt. Have your expectations accordingly, Ryan, because this deck ain't great. You did name it Garbage Elementals, after all. All right, well, our deck unfortunately performed to expectations, and we're going to try to do better this time. Drafting. It can spin on just one little pick. I was really excited to finally take an Overgrowth Elemental at a time where it could make sense, and I pack one pick. We pack one, pick one rare gems. Then pack one, pick two was Rabid Bite, and then pack one, pick three was Blood for Bones or Overgrowth Elemental. And I leaned Overgrowth Elemental on the strength of the Rabid Bite and on the Elemental Green archetype. And then, of course, hindsight said if I had gone down the black path, we would have had a much sweeter deck. Yeah, we had some outs to win, but you know, Mike, they're thin, right? Like we absolutely could have pulled those out, but you don't think this deck is amazing or anything, right? It's just it's got playable cards. It just doesn't have any kind of dominant strategy going on here. It's a little mixed up, a little muddled. Elemental, no elementals, but we'll keep this. I think blue-black and the Teamer Elementals decks are where you want to be for the most part. But I think Teamer Elementals is super strong. And when I say Teamer Elementals, I basically mean almost any combination of 2 or 3 of those colors. But yeah, basically all of the blue possibilities are... I think the 4 best decks are all blue-based. Yeah, I agree, Mike. I'm happy that nobody has called punt on me yet, and that we have thought through what our outs are and done our best to play to them. You can't ask for too much more than that. I'm going to go with Evolving Wilds to get the island in case we, rip a Frost Cat that we want to play. I mean, we're talking about it in the context of Arena, though. Yeah, that's what I was saying. I want the cycle of all 5, so these non-Avon unhinged lands don't look so weird. I'm going to go with the Smuggler here in hopes that we can luck into an Elemental to make work with this. I'm going to give it one more turn at least. And in fact, I'm just going to attack with both, and if they want to trade the Sedge Scorp, they can. That's fine. They're into the race. All right. Pick one, Kaya or Shark to Crab. Kaya's the Planeswalker, right, that does some life gain stuff, messes with the graveyard, kills one. Yeah, I would get the Shark then. Depends, Resonator. Like, going back to Gem Farm, a previous format, cuts into your building up of cards in the new set. So if we went back and Gem Farmed Ravnica Allegiance, which we could do, we would just be costing us time in building up our resources in M20. So it's a trade-off, I think. Okay, back to this. We don't have... we do have this elemental. We could hold off on elemental for a turn, but I think that's greedy. We're just going to play the Rugged Highlands, play the elemental, and lead out with... oh, we don't have a second red. Oh, yeah, we will with this. Okay, good. All right, so we're kind of racing here. I'm going to keep the race going with the Smuggler. Oh, yeah, they can make that unblockable, so we just got to keep the race going. I don't intend to draft RNA today, no. I'm... maybe we could do it tomorrow. I mean, that's the trade-off. If we go for RNA at any point, we're sacrificing progress on our 4x of M20. I don't know. I haven't read the build notes, so I don't know if they did any work on the RNA bots or not. I believe Jay will be on tomorrow. I haven't talked to him this week, but I know he was at Gen Con last week, but I'm expecting him back this week. So I'm actually going to take this. It's a pretty big hit, but we have Reduce and Fire. And I think that means we don't need to trade here. Plummet seems like it should find a target in against a blue deck. We'll find out. Here we're going to drop the Fire Elemental and figure out how we want to attack. Unsummon would be pretty bad for us here, but there was no pause, so it looks like they do not have Unsummon. That's good to know. And given that... I'm going to risk it. We're putting a lot on them not having like a Chandra. If they have an Outrage, we're just dead. Maybe I shouldn't do this because with the Scorpion, because if they have an Outrage, we're just dead. Let's at least have a way to stay alive if they have an Outrage. If they do, we will gain a life, at least. Why best of 3 instead of best of 1 ranked? I really like best of 3 in this format more, and we also have a best of 1 ranked in midstream, and I like to start each day with an actual draft from the free-to-play account, so... It's really our only option, but also I think it's better for my win rate, I think it's better for my gem EV, and I think it's better for the fun of the format to do best of 3 in M20. Embercat and a Pack Mastiff. Ooh, Uncaged Fury, you say. Can we just get there from here? Let's see. We send in everything. Well, let's see. Peace just wants to shove. We're at 6 life. We can't just shove. We need to think this through. If we attack with everything, how do you block? You would put... you'd let through the Scorpion and trade Chump. And then you have some stuff coming back the other way. If they let any of it go, are we in serious trouble? Trouble with reducing the smugglers, they have 2 of them, so that doesn't actually do that much. We can smuggle... we should probably kill the Berserker. Maybe we can kill one of the smugglers, but I think we kill the Berserker as the thing that smuggles through for the most damage. All right, I'm going to reduce the Berserker because they have 2 smugglers, so they're going to... I needed to move there. We're running out of time. Yeah, they're not going to do no block, though. They're just not. Question is, do we send in here? And I think... this is where I wish I had more time. I'm getting oppressed by the clock, and if I could tank a little bit here, I could come up with a multi-turn plan that I really liked. But what are we sending in with? If we go, let's see, if they go 2 unblocked. Oh, I guess we're just dead anyway, huh? I screwed up. All right. So yeah, we got to go in with at least this much. No, we're not just dead. We gotta force them to block though. Maybe we are. Let's see. Yeah, we're not just dead because we forced them to block here.
Your friend here is only mostly dead.
Taking 5 from Mastiff is not 6. And we got an Uncaged Fury to win with just about any crackback. Now, however, they have a 2-turn sequence because they can chump. But the Scorpion, actually, we're still there. If they try this, we got it, right? Because Uncaged Fury is lethal on the Scorpion as well. All right, we eked it out. Not dead after all. And we can even do it this way. Let's not... we won't even let them know about the Fury. Didn't see any flyers, but they're blue, so we're going to keep in this plummet on spec. Any bow targets? I gotta remember to look for bow targets. Blue, red, elementals. We didn't really see a lot of 1 toughness. Game sounds are loud. I can tweak that down a little. Thank you. Just let me know. Adjust these things. Yeah, the pro white guy pings to the bow. I don't think that's worth bringing it in alone. Strionic Resonator, I didn't even think about it because they had no cards in hand. It was simply a matter of choosing which one to kill it with and attacking. All paths were a victory there, so I didn't even think about it. Anything for natural end. Paralyzing Grasp. Yeah, let's bring that in. Everything's so weak in this deck that I don't mind trying to find little upgrades here and there. Could take out a Courser or a Shaman. Unsummon on the splash. Do we need the interaction that much? What are we doing exactly with that? I'm not sure what that gets us exactly. I'm going to not do that. I'm going to cut Sentinel. Oh, unsummon as a way to save a enchanted creature, sure, that's a possible use for that as well. It's our splash color, though I kind of liked running a color that's more main deck for us, but we'll keep this. Well, I was debating between cutting the Courser or... Actually, I wouldn't have cut the Courser. I would have cut the 3-2, so we don't see any information on that front in terms of would we rather have this be a 2-2 Vigilance dude? Creature on the aggro here. We're going to drop the Courser and make them use the unblockability clause if they want to keep attacking here. Kind of expecting the Embercat to make some mana on this turn. Drop a fire elemental of their own or something. Nope, that's actually, I think, good for us if they're smuggling Embercats at this point. James thinks we should have cut the plummet. I don't cut plummets against... it didn't even look like a blue splash. It was like half islands. It's base blue enough that I feel like we will find targets for the plummet. I generally keep my plummets in against blue sight unseen, but we'll see. Maybe this is an exception. Okay, that's rough. Embercat. Their Brawler's going to be a 4-4. If they play another elemental, then we're in big trouble. But if they stay at 2 elementals, then we can try a double block. This one already feels like it's slipping away with the curve out Oppo has dropped on our faces. But we're close to adding a fire elemental. That should help. Trouble is they've got Smuggler for the Brawler. So our fire elementals need to go on offense. All right. We are low percentage to win this one. They're going to get in for 5 here and are threatening a 2-turn clock after this. Oppo's deck looks much better than ours, says Fiddles. Over-under on being able to say that about any given opponent is pretty in favor of Oppo's decks. Yeah, I'll show. I mean, we're just kind of screwed here, though. Convolute that? No, no convolute. Sure. Do your worst. Whatever. Well, we have 2 Lavakin Brawlers and 2 Goblin Smugglers in our deck, too, but we didn't find ours. Ubermensch, Fire Elemental is totally playable in the Elementals deck. It just is. It gets all the synergy stuff for Elementals that we have. Like, we have Lavakin Brawlers and a Creeping Trailblazer that really like the Elemental thing. But also, the eternal question for any why are you playing that question is over what? What are we playing it over? So if you want to take these Elementals out, we can go look in sideboarding and you tell me what to put in instead, and I think you'll see that we're just in a spot where we unfortunately are compelled to play a couple of Fire Elementals due to card quality. It's a rough draft. I swear if we cut this plummet, we're going to immediately face flyers. But at least we can take out their Smuggler here and have a chance. I'm going to do this now. Sure. Sure, get wrecked, Ryan. Just get wrecked. That would be about the worst idea I'd ever heard. Playing significant number of islands in your mono red deck just to throw off your opponent, don't do that. don't ever do that. Well, I thought we had a stabilization play, but instead we're just straight up deaders. Hey, Peace, how you doing? I'm all right. I'm not very happy with our deck, but again, if the worst thing that happens to me today is I was unhappy with my Magic the Gathering Arena draft deck, boo frickin' who, Mr. Spain? So I'm doing all right. I'm doing good. Let's see. We made some swaps. Do we want to keep the plummet in, or are we going to take it out? I feel like the Magic gods are watching, and if I take it out, we're going to face flyers. If I leave it in, we're not. So I guess we'll take it out. And Ubermensch, here's your opportunity to tell us what's better than Fire Elemental here. And I think you'll see that, unfortunately for us, not much is. We could go ahead and add to our splash with our own Unsummon. Pretty strong spell in general. Yeah, Gift isn't bad. The thing is, it's a 3-color deck that's, you know, I mean, it's about the sources of blue, right? And maybe with, maybe for adding more blue, it becomes more reasonable to add the Gift. We're just not ramping to much, so I'm reticent to put that in, ramping to nowhere. Yeah, I can get to deck building here, but Natural End, they're playing enchantment-based removal. I'm just going to do this. Thank you, Hotter. You rock too. All right, let's get him. Come on. Blah. Gotta keep this, but blah. I think a lot of our openers are going to produce a blah response anyway. Yeah, we got all Avon lands at least. Rage is better than Fire Elemental, yes, but we're playing both, right? So what do we do? Biased against vanillas. Oh, yeah. Well, and also, I'm just trying to reinforce the point that, like, any question of why is that in there is based on what you could be playing instead, and unfortunately, our options there are slim. I'm gonna go for the Loaming Shaman as a in its low spot. See, this is one of those spots where we'd much rather have just a Centaur Courser. I'm not using Maniacal Rage against Unsummon. Up against Smuggler again. You know, I'm gonna bite and attack because we really need to kill the Smuggler. And it sets us up to be able to, if we draw untapped land, play the Elemental, and then potentially double spell into these two after that. Now you have to find blue in that case, but this hedges towards being able to run the Elemental out ahead of the Overgrowth Elemental. It's rough. Man. Can't catch a little break. Just need a little break here. Try and get through. You'd almost bluff attack with the shaman here. Maybe a little bit too late, but I feel like... in fact, we're almost so far behind, I kind of want to try it. I bet we can attack in for 3 here. Trouble is, it doesn't even do much for us. Great, we get him to 14, then what? I'm going to stay back and at least threaten to put the shaman in front of the berserker this time. And I guess we have to be grown up about this and play the elemental for no value. Maybe they'll put a paralysis on one of these that we can natural end away. It'd be nice to get some value out of this. Mask is good for them here. Doesn't cost anything to sack, so they've got 1 point to throw around. 4-4, so we can trade 2 for 2, but I'm going to just 1 for 1 here like this, take the 4 and try to get an elemental down for the trading off the brawler. Oh, thanks. I'll get to battlefield right. Yeah, let's do this. I guess we can destroy the mask. Instant, right? All right, we'll wait. I guess if we destroy it now... What does that do for us? Doesn't change anything on our blocks. I'm going to wait. They might go for a paralysis here and we can use it on that instead. Not that it would allow blocking this turn, it would just be a better use of our natural end. Gotta do this now, or else they just equip the mask to the elemental and kill it. I could have waited till they spent the mana, though. I should have done that, I guess. Very little change. It just gives them a mastiff pump. So 1 point... Basically giving up 1 point of damage there. Which could matter. Difference between 3 and 2. Oh, thanks, Mountain. So nice of you to join. Might be in time. Yeah, the hastiness with which I cast this natural end is the difference between us being at 3 and 2, and we'll see if that matters. Up to you on whether that's a punt, but definitely should have done it. Should have waited a little bit more on that. You gotta be kidding me. Where are all these spells coming from? Did they draw 3 cards a turn this game and we didn't? Well, our blocks are clear. Only really one way to play this. Funny, funny mana. Mana is so funny. Funny, funny magic. Oh, magic, I love you. How wonderful that the worst parts of my days are losing at you. Ugh. No, we're not going to draft again because we have a draft to work on. That was super disappointing, folks. But, you know, I get some comments on YouTube sometime. I put up every draft I play on stream onto YouTube, all of my warts, all of my losses. So at least everybody gets an accurate picture of life in the grind, you know? You take your O2s sometimes. Hello, Arena. You gonna let us back into something? I'm gonna just go ahead and quit and restart here. It seems to be having some issues. Colossus, Ram, Gates Ablaze, and 9 gates. Well, so RNA is as it ever was, I guess. Oh, I forgot to spin. Glad I saw this before we lost one of these. Let's see, we are about to go... Well, let's see. Let's first claim this prize.
Your friend here is only mostly
Oh, stop that.
dead.
Sorry, Miracle Max, we are fully dead. The mostly period is over. All right, a sad O2, but I thank you for joining me with it. All you YouTubers who made it to the end of this sadness, we'll try and do better on the results next time. Thanks for hanging.